I think I feel wronged by what's going on, and I think a lot of people have been wronged. So it's a feeling of injustice that I'm trying to articulate, because I think perfectly decent, normal, go about their business, law-abiding, tax-paying people have been taken for an absolute ride. Their better nature has been exploited, and I feel a deep sense of injustice on their behalf, which I try to articulate in the minutes available to me on a Saturday night.
Which is great, and people just share this stuff hugely, and it inspires me on a Sunday morning. I have to confess, I'm never awake at that time of day because I go to bed early. But on Sunday morning, I open up and I receive my sermon, and it almost feels like that in a way to me. It's like you're pulling people into a message. You're definitely saying something, and you're trying to communicate something, but. And I know what you're talking about, injustice and all of this sort of stuff, which I agree with 100%. But why? Why not just write a book? I mean, I know you write books too, but why 9 minutes for everybody?
An opportunity presented itself, essentially, and I decided to take the opportunity. What happened was I don't honestly remember the genesis, but I must have put something out on social media. I know it. Well, I was putting stuff out on social media, and it came to the attention of Mike Graham on Talk Radio, and he got in touch with me, and we started having every Wednesday morning. We were having a conversation, about half an hour or so on a Wednesday morning, about the state of the nation, and it strayed into things, lockdown, and eventually it became about human rights and freedom of speech and all of the things that brought us together, actually.
Yeah.
We met via a similar, sequence of events. And then when GB News was born, I was approached because of what I had been saying on what was going out on radio. And it was being shared around. It would go out on radio, and then it was being shared around, and GB News had become aware of the stance that I was taking. And it was accidental. I had never meant to get into that situation. I put a toe in the water and then found myself ankle deep, knee deep, hip deep, and now I'm in it up to my neck. But it was by incremental processes.
You're a white supremacist now, aren't you?
I am
for opposing lockdowns.
I am ultra extreme. I am politically to the right of Attila the Hun.
I know, just for demanding people have their civil liberties.
And so when my first show, I still feel uncomfortable calling it a show, because but when my first show was to go out, I said perhaps I should explain why I'm here, because I felt incongruous, and I said I should probably do a few minutes and just say, if you're surprised to see me here, the guy that did Coast and soft documentaries about history and sacred places, then imagine what it's like from my side of the camera. And I thought it would just give me a context, and I wouldn't be pretending to be something that I wasn't. I haven't suddenly metamorphosed into a current affairs journalist, and I wanted to acknowledge that fact. So the first monologue was it was supposed to be a one-off, I suppose. Really, I thought I would just do it once, but it seemed to, even that seemed to strike a chord, and there was feedback about it being an honest sort of declaration of my incongruous presence. And so week 2 came along, and I did another one. And I can't remember what it was about. And then lo and behold, it became a fixture. It became how I start. It is now how I start every show. But it was an accident. I didn't come into GB News intending to soapbox the first 10 minutes of every show.